Today I'm going to show you guys the Terraria Progression Guide. And Terraria has no real progression guide in the game, and it doesn't really have one on the wiki either. It's very hard to find information about what to do next. So I'm going to show you in this format. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you using my Obsidian app all the different things that you should be doing in Terraria step by step. And for any of the things that I show you in here, whatever videos I have made showing you how to do these things, I'm going to put them into the playlist along with this video, and you should be able to find the corresponding one. For example, if you don't know how to get some of the weapons that are going to be in this list, then I'm going to do a how-to video on how to get the weapons, put them into the playlist. But if there's anything that I haven't covered, maybe you could Google or YouTube the question, like how to make cactus armor, for example, because I haven't made that video yet, and they should pop up pretty quickly. Now, you can obviously do a lot of this yourself and explore yourself. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with pre-hard mode. Terraria has pre-hard mode and hard mode. First thing you do when you go into Terraria is you make a hut for yourself and for the guide. And as a new player, remember to put back walls. There's two different types of walls in Terraria. There's the solid blocks that make the outline of the house, and there's the back walls that you put down to stop enemies from spawning inside your house. Make sure you use the back walls, and yeah, make a house for yourself and remember back walls. At all points throughout the game, I would recommend making your hut bigger, making your house bigger, making multiple houses to bring in NPCs from all across the world. Then I would recommend going left and right across your map and look for a desert. Look for cactus and chop down the cactus and pretty much make cactus armor. Go left and right on your map. You look for a natural cave, and then you pretty much go and look for tungsten or silver. And out of the tungsten and silver, you make tungsten armor. You make a tungsten bow, and you make some arrows, or you can buy some arrows from the merchant NPC if you have made your house big enough. And this also shows accessories. You're looking around for accessories, so open any chests you find and look for accessories to put into your accessory slot. And when you find tungsten, silver, lead, iron, you could use those ingredients, and stone of course, to use or to make an anvil, furnace, bench with a bottle. And while you're also in the natural cave, you want to find gems. And this is just a tip that I recommend for doing anything new that you find that is classified as a material. Put the gem into the guide, like talk to the guide about it, the NPC himself, and ask him about rubies. And he will tell you what you can do with rubies. And I will show you that in a moment, what you want to do with that. But you are also going to make a hook. So you're asking the guide about the rubies, and you can also make a hook. So I can actually put this here and show you that you can make a hook. Hook is going to allow you to hook onto the walls as you go around Terraria and as you navigate landscapes, in order for you to be able to get out of holes and out of bad situations. Just a quick pointer on looking for a natural cave. A lot of new players, what they do is they try and dig down, or they try and dig into the dirt, which takes forever. You're looking for a natural cave so that you can get underground, especially into the part that actually matters, quickly. You don't want to have to dig down yourself, especially if you're new, because you're going to be using a very slow pickaxe and you're going to take all bloody day. The further down you go in the natural cave, the more chance you have of finding crystals. And those heart crystals are going to give you extra health if you use them from your inventory. And I'd recommend try and get all the way up to the maximum health. You'll see it in the top right, your little hearts, your little red hearts will go up. Try and get maximum health before you start fighting any bosses. If you're playing classic mode, you probably don't need to go that far, but it's just something that I like to do. I like to have all my health before taking care of the bosses. So if you ask the guide about rubies, you'll be able to make an item that allows you to spawn the king slime. And if you have your tungsten armor, if you have your tungsten bow, and maybe some flame arrows as well, which you can make, then you can kill king slime easily. In order to kill Cthulhu, I'd recommend making a flat surface, which would be a small arena. Just make it out of platforms from maybe the roof of your base out by about 200 to 300 blocks, and just use that to fight these bosses. Make sure you are able to reach it from the ground. So you might need 2 levels of platforms. Make sure you're able to jump from the ground up onto the first platform, and then maybe from the first platform onto the second platform. You just want a little flat area to fight the King Slime and Cthulhu. Then I recommend getting bombs, and you can now travel to the Crimson or Corruption area, whichever one you have in your world. That's the big red or purple area, respectively. And I'd recommend maybe turning those bombs actually to sticky bombs. And if you turn them into sticky bombs, it'll make it easier to destroy shadow orbs. So when you pretty much go into the Crimson or the Corruption, you go down, and if you're having no trouble surviving down there, of course, with the armor that you currently have, then you pretty much look for these little glowing round things, and you can't pickaxe down to them, so you have to bomb your way down to them, and you destroy 3 of them in your world to spawn Eater of the Worlds or Brain of Cthulhu. And if you destroy the first 2 of them, if you feel like you're not strong enough, you can go away and try and get stronger, and hopefully you get one of the drops from the shadow orbs that will actually increase your damage. Now, when you actually do spawn Eater of the Worlds or Brain of Cthulhu and you take them out, you're going to get ingredients that are going to allow you to pretty much mix with what you got from the Cthulhu, and now you can make the Nightmare Pickaxe and upgrade your armor. When you kill the Eater of the Worlds, Brain of Cthulhu, you're guaranteed that a meteorite is going to spawn in your world, and when it comes up on the bottom left of your screen that a meteorite has spawned, go and mine it. You need a gold pickaxe or better for that. If you have the Nightmare Pickaxe, you'll be fine. And you will go and mine that, and you'll make the armor and space gun from the meteorite. When you make your armor and space gun, it's one of the best combos in the game, simply because the space gun doesn't cost any ammo or mana as long as you're wearing the full armor of the meteorite. So best of luck with that. That's going to really help. And one thing you can do with the space gun is actually use it to light your way as well. So use it as a source of light too. Then after you have your armor and space gun, you find the jungle, and now it's time to find boots if you haven't already, and try your best to upgrade them. You're going to need some ingredients from the jungle and from the surface level brown chests to upgrade your boots, give you a bit of movement speed. And then I would recommend finding and beating Queen Bee. You're looking for the bee's knees in this instance. If you don't get the bee's knees in classic mode, it's not the end of the world, but I highly recommend getting it just for the next boss. Then you have to find the dungeon. It's literally on the opposite side of the jungle, so whichever way you went to find one, you'll find the other on the opposite side. And here you're going to beat Skeletron. I'd recommend an arena. I haven't played classic mode in a long time, so I don't remember how difficult Skeletron is on an uneven surface. I'd recommend an even surface for Skeletron, and I'd actually recommend this even surface for all bosses in this game, just to stop you from getting stuck constantly. But with Skeletron in particular, it's very important to get away from his very damaging attacks. And when you finally open the dungeon, there's plenty in there to explore, so go explore the dungeon, but you're looking for the Cobalt Shield pretty much. That's the key item. It's going to stop you from taking knockback for the rest of the game as long as you have it equipped. Then you create a elevator and stop corruption spread. So you're going to pretty much build a big hole all the way down to hell on either side of your base to prevent corruption spread when you actually enter hard mode. And down there you're going to get obsidian, and you're actually going to use the obsidian to get molten armor and a pickaxe. So I'm going to put it like this instead, kind of twist it around a little bit. And to get molten armor and pickaxe, I'd recommend making an obsidian skin potion. So you're going to need some fire blossom down in hell, and you're also going to need the hell forge that's down there in order to be able to make the molten armor and pickaxe. And I personally don't use the molten armor for a while. I'll show you when to use it, but you need the pickaxe pretty much. Oh, well, I suppose you don't really need the pickaxe either until you start using the molten armor. But for now, stick with the space armor until I tell you. And then you will create a hell bridge, which in classic mode is probably about 1,000 blocks across hell. That gives you something to run across while you do the next boss. Then it is time to beat the wall of flesh And best of luck with this fight. It can be difficult, especially when you are doing it for the first time, but I definitely think you got this. Then we have the optional things that you can do. You can go find sky islands, you can fight deer clops, and you can set up mob farms. These are going to help improve your character a lot. You can also make a plant farm for potions, and you can actually make potions in general, which I think I'm going to add in here. Potions, because potions are really important in Terraria. And I won't say this again later. I won't make one of these later for it, but at any point in this game, you should probably be making buff potions if you run out. So constantly be thinking of making potions, even in hard mode, in late game, while I've already moved on to other things. Always be thinking about it. So that was pre-hard mode, and now we're going to move on to hard mode. And in hard mode, we are going to be ramping up the difficulty a little bit. As soon as you kill a wall of flesh, that is when hard mode begins. And let's get started. So the first thing I'd recommend you do is farm mimics. That's what I do. And a very good weapon for that is the Clockwork Assault Rifle from Wall of Flesh. Make sure you try and fight Wall of Flesh a few times in order to get the Clockwork Assault Rifle. And if you farm mimics, you're going to get some really important accessories that are going to do you for the rest of the game. But this is a kind of more of an optional thing, because you don't have to do this right away, but you should do this at some point in hard mode. You can also make a mimic farm. When you are finished farming mimics, I recommend that you make yourself some wings so that you don't have to worry about fall damage anymore. And if you do that, you can fly. Obviously, it'll be easier to get around the map. I usually go for harpy wings or for fairy wings first. I think fairy wings are slightly easier than harpy wings, but it's pretty much up to you, and I'm sure you'll figure out which wings that you want to get. Just a reminder, and this applies to everything before and everything after, constantly use the guide in-game to find out what you can do with new items, especially if they're materials, because maybe you have an item that helps you make wings. Then you use the pawn hammer, which you got from Wall of Flesh, to destroy demon altars. Go around destroying as many of these as you can. You want to get as many hard mode ores into your world, and then go and mine the hard mode ores. So you're pretty much going to use the molten pickaxe and the molten armor to go and get the hard mode ores. And you are going to get the hard mode ores and make all of the hard mode armor. I'd recommend making each armor as you go and each pickaxe, and just using them, see which one you like the most. My preference is the adamantite armor. Now it's time to move on to the sky bridge. Pretty much a sky bridge is you want to go up into the air, probably use rope, and you want to make a bridge out of platforms that goes across the sky, at least 200 blocks, maybe even 400, and maybe up to 1,000 blocks wide. Careful, if you don't have wings already, you will fall off and die. Also, make sure you're not all the way up in space, or you will spawn wyverns constantly. So if you have a way of checking to see what level you're at, if you have a depth meter, for example, try not to go to space. Try and stay in the kind of like surface level, but just up in the sky. And that's going to allow you to fight all the bosses moving forward, pretty much all the above ground bosses. Then I recommend getting the Daedalus Stormbow, and when you are getting the Daedalus Stormbow, I recommend getting Holy Arrows and the Unicorn Mount as well. That's going to really make you strong against the Destroyer, which is going to be your first mech boss that you're going to fight. And then you're going to fight the twins, and you're going to fight Skeletron Prime using the Mega Shark and bullets. Put bullets down here because there's so many bullets that you can use. You can use crystal bullets, meteor bullets, and there's no real best choice. I usually go for crystal bullets for this. So crystal bullets against the twins and against Skeletron Prime using the Mega Shark. And now that you have all three mech bosses killed, before or after you kill all three of them, you can kill Queen Slime if you like. It's kind of more of an optional boss here. That's why it's all on its own. You don't really need anything from it, maybe the Queen Slime mount, but you've already got the Unicorn mount, so I don't know. And then you get your Hallowed Armor and Pickaxe. So now let's go to the jungle. So you go back to the jungle. You're going to be spending a lot of time here now. You might as well make it your home. and you're going to go get life fruits. Life fruits are very similar to those crystals that we were getting earlier, but they increase your health a little bit more and they turn your health bar yellow. So get as many of those as you need to fill up your health bar, and then make a small arena. If you're in classic mode, you probably don't need a big arena. An arena is pretty much just going to be a little area, or big area I suppose, with multiple layers of platforms so that you can move around easily, because now you're going to be fighting Plantera, one of the gatekeepers of hard mode in Terraria. A lot of people give up at Plantera and they don't continue playing Terraria. They don't finish the game. But you are going to fight Plantera, and then you're going to get the jungle key from Plantera. You're going to go into the Hazard Temple. Then you're going to go in there. It's quite difficult. Be careful. You're going to beat Golem. And then after you beat Golem, now it's time to make turtle armor, or to even upgrade and go all the way to beetle armor. And you have some optional bosses that you could fight if you like. You have the Martian Madness, which is one of my favorite events in Terraria. You have Duke Fishron, who is going to give you a very big challenge. And you have Empress of Light, who is one of the coolest bosses in the game, if not the coolest boss in terms of just how it looks. Some optional items you can get in Terraria are the Terra Spark Boots, the Rod of Discord, the Ankh Shield. There's others, of course, that you can get, but these ones are ones that are going to take you a while to find. The Terra Spark Boots takes a lot of work, the Ankh Shield takes a lot of grinding, and the Rod of Discord is a very low drop rate, so that's why I put these under optional items. And there's a lot of other items, of course, that are not on this list that you might find throughout your time. And if you find anything that looks cool and you want to know if it's any good, make sure you put it into the comment section and either I or somebody else will answer that question for you. If you're happy with all your optional bosses and all your optional items, now it's time to go and finish the game. So we are going to go to the lunatic cultists and fight them. Then we're going to kill the pillars, but we're going to leave one of the pillars alive, so we have time to do these two steps. Solar Eruption is very good against Moonlord if you're melee, and the Vortex Beater is amazing if you are ranged. And with the Vortex Beater, I would recommend that you use Chlorophyte Bullets in order to beat Moonlord, because they'll take the needing to aim away from you. And you can just shoot without having to actually aim for Moonlord, and it'll hit him automatically. So Chlorophyte Bullets, remember that. And I recommend getting the Stardust Dragon no matter what. The best summon in the game, well, one of the best summons in the game, and it's a lot of fun to use. So I highly recommend using that. And now, after you have killed the pillars, you will spawn Moonlord. So best of luck fighting Moonlord. I'd recommend fighting him on your Sky Bridge. And once you've killed Moonlord, it is GG. So, thank you very much for watching today's video. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will be in the comment section to answer them. And I hope that you found this helpful. And I will see you again in the next one.